Okay, we just begin with the questions again, continue with the questions, because I think Suresh, yeah?
Hello, okay. Rinpoche, Shantideva says here that may I be a bridge, a boat, a ship, island, a lamp. Can the Bodhisattva manifest as an insentient object?
Yes.
So then Google can be Bodhisattva?
Who?
Google?
Oh, yes.
What level Bodhisattva is Google then?
When the Google gives, if a Google moment gives rise to kindness, compassion, and emptiness, then that particular Google moment is quite a high level bodhisattva. When a particular Google moment gives rise to, like, how to make bombs and I don't know, then that particular Google is probably not a bodhisattva.
And when a Google answers 100,000 questions in 5 seconds, is that not like very close to omniscience?
No, not at all.
No?
No. Because for Google there is 100,000 answers. Omniscience doesn't even have numbers like 100,000s. For omniscient mind, 1 and 1,000 has no difference. So it's a totally different. From the omniscient point of view, Google knows nothing.
So how
everything that Google gives you, the information, need to be swallowed with, what do you call it? Pinch of salt.
Thank you.
Why are you laughing?
No, I think it's very funny.
No, actually this is a very important question. Many people interpret omniscience as knowing lots and lots and lots of things, gone to lots and lots of universities, read lots of books, have all this, someone who would immediately win those quiz shows. Nothing like that. Omniscience, number tamji chemba. Tamji jita wada jinye chemba. Knowing how it is and what it is the character of omniscience. So omniscience really is knowing the truth. The truth is there is no numbers, there is no space, there is no directions, there is no time. There is no even a concept called infinite. Google is still in the box, basically. It is in the box, isn't it? What? Yes. Okay.
Rinpoche, my question is mainly about self and others. Yesterday you made an interesting point that self and others are same according to one point of view, right?
Self and?
Others. Self and others.
It's both a concept, yes. But a very stubborn concept, very solid.
Okay. And you say they are same.
Wait. As in mind training?
No, there was a statement wherein, according to one point of view, self and others are same.
Maybe as in mind training. There is a technique to think that way. I don't remember what I've said, Don't take everything what I've said seriously.
Right. Okay, my question was mainly...
I go into trance, not with some supernatural being, but delusion.
And the reason I asked question was usually the problems start because when we think of others as different from us, and that is where all the problems usually start. So
Yes.
So if this
Yes.
concept of self and others is same is true,
Yes,
then
from
it's
the-
a very helpful concept.
Yeah, from the ultimate point of view. Okay, since you raised the question, and since I should also give you a dosage of 9th chapter for today. Okay. Shantadeva's Bodhicharya Avatara is called Shastra. I guess Shastra in Sanskrit means something like a commentary, right? Commentary. It's a commentary to the sutra. The commentary, so what is Shantadeva commentating on? Sutras such as Prajanaparamita Sutra and Madhyamika Sutra. Okay? Now and the Prajanaparamita is a very big sutra. Even in the tangible form, such as books, if you are talking in terms of pages and words, it's so big. To give you a glimpse of the Prajanaparamita, which I should because 9th chapter is all about that. During the Buddha's time, most important conference was held on top of what we present day, what we call Rajgir. It's in Bihar. If you go there, you will see nothing, nothing significant. It's just a mound. But on that mound, the most important conference was held. Some of the most celebrated, illustrious. You have to think in terms of something like G7 summit, is it? G8, G7, whatever. You have to think in this kind of situation. So it was a big summit presided by the Buddha himself. Shariputra, wow, the greatest of the greatest. We are talking about like genius. He was there. So many great Mahasattvas, not just Bodhisattva, but the Mahasattvas, such as Avalokiteshvara. And their conference was not about some limited small issue. They were there to solve the problem of the three worlds. What is the real problem of whole this beings, the whole three worlds? Okay? So they have come to a conclusion that self, the notion me, I, is the fundamental cause of the problems of the world. So there was a lengthy discussion between greatest of the greatest, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara. What is self? And there they all concluded that Okay, so it is a systematic discussion. So they have come to a conclusion that when we think about self, we are always referring to either 5, 4, 3, yes, I think that's about it. 3 different kinds of aggregate. Form, feeling, there's that 5 aggregates that Buddhists talk about. They couldn't find anything else beyond that which can be referred, which can be pointed out as self. So separately they analyze. And as they analyze separately, they have found that so-called the form is emptiness. But what do we mean by form is emptiness? We could see. It's not like it's gone, it's void. Then they come to a conclusion that emptiness is form. Form is not other than the emptiness. Emptiness is not other than the form. So on and so forth. They've analyzed every aggregates, feelings, consciousness, karmic formation, all of that. And once these aggregates are analyzed and finally come to the conclusion that they have no inherently existing entity, then we realize that the self is just a notion. It's just an idea. Just like money, for instance. Or a nation. It is just an idea. But we cannot really just look down and sort of dismiss it. Oh, it's just an idea. Because it is an idea stubbornly established for lifetimes after lifetimes. It's not going to go that easily. Even to think that this is just a mere idea is difficult. In fact, many other religions have associated this self as supreme, that, supreme, this, created by God, this God, that God, Even, it is an amazing revolution it is such a courage to say that self does not exist. Because that's the one last thing is your last bullet in your battlefield that everybody wants to keep. Maybe, So that, by the way, become the fundamental teachings of emptiness. If there is no self, there is no others. If there is no self and there is no others, there is no compassion. Right? Then there is no generosity. Nothing. So, as in the Prajnaparamita Sutra, nothing exists. Even the enlightenment is just an idea. It only exists relatively. And just to conclude that realization is referred as the Maha Mantra, the great mantra. And out of the compassion of the Buddha, you can even chant that mantra. Tathagata yatam gati gati paragati parasam gati bodhi swaha. But those are just a tool. But again, when I say word just, I'm not dismissing it. It's stubborn. Okay? So that, from that point of view, self and other does not even exist. And if they do not exist, I cannot even say it is same. If I say it is same, I'm asserting they exist. Now, to understand that truth, we have path. Now, during the path, as a bodhisattva, we can train our mind in thinking, self and other are one or same, or exchanging self and the other. There's a lengthy discourse on that in this book, which you will hear. So that's just a glimpse of the 9th chapter again. It is because of, for this prajna paramita, okay, for this approaching to this prajna paramita, we are imagining the bathhouse, the flowers, the swans, the songs, the symbols, all of that, okay? This is the beauty of the Mahayana. Just because everything is emptiness does not mean you negate all the rituals. It fits very well. Building a path based on righteousness never works. Building a path based on emptiness fits so well. Any more question?
In this chapter, we were reading about like how you also mentioned that even when you blink, it can be something which is good for all beings. So, what kind of attitude do we need to keep at the beginning of every day, or something? Because sometimes we are very angry and we are not in the right frame of mind to.
Oh yeah. Just that. When you wake up, you should think, whatever happens today, of course the virtuous things, but even the mundane, even stirring your tea. Even drinking a cup of tea, one way or another, indirectly or directly, may it become beneficial to, may it become some sort of a way or a condition that will lead myself and others to be enlightened. Really. That's all you need. And this is a mind training. By doing so, if you do it continuously, you will not find, there's so many benefits. One is, when you begin to do something beneficial, you will not find it at all annoying, let alone annoying. You will just plunge into it as a, you will not find it difficult. It's a joy for you. And because if you keep on doing that, praise and criticism and attention and all that becomes meaningless. It's the mind training. And it's a very practical, simple mind training. No exotic mantras or visualization. Not a single reason why you should not do it. It's beneficial to yourself, it's beneficial to others. It's going to release a lot of stress. Because even, it's a bit like this, okay. Like when you give a coin wholeheartedly, kindly to a beggar, immediately it makes you happy. Immediately, that act of generosity makes you happy. There is the result already. You don't even have to wait for the effect of this generosity in the next life. Already you are full of joy for being able to do something to somebody. Of course, when you are doing it wholeheartedly and kindly and genuinely, not just trying to buzz off. Okay?
I have a question. In this chapter, there's this place where you say, having given this body up for the pleasure of all living beings by killing, abusing, beating. And then there is somewhere where you say, may I be a protector for those, for others. So talking from the perspective of relative truth and taking metta bhavana as another point of reference where we treat all as equal, self and other. How does this fit in with that, where we are treating ourself, our body, giving our body up for beating and all kind of unhealthy situations, and trying to protect the other?
Oh, it's all again mind training. It's a state. I'm sorry, actually, you are right, because I'm kind of galloping through this a little bit. It's a gradual, mind training. First you do that. Okay, do whatever you want. I'm your slave. And then you develop a little bit more courage. Actually, I can do more. I'm going to save you. I'm going to protect you. Like that. There's a lot of... Somebody should research how many commentaries on Bodhicharya Avatar just in the Tibetan. There is so many. People, everybody loves this, and it still goes. The love for this text goes on. And it is so nice to hear recently from my own school in Chantra, I met some of the young monks, those who have been studying there almost 6-7 years, and those who are quite well versed in other more critical, analytical, like Madhyamika or Pramana, Buddhist logic, and Abhidharma, metaphysics of Buddhism. I was asking them, and they wholeheartedly, unanimously said that just how much they just love reading Bodhicharya Avatara. Because one would think, like Bodhicharya Avatara being the first ever, so it's like the introduction lesson. One would think that it is like, it's like a grade 1 study. It's not that difficult. Actually, as you can see, it's not that difficult at a glance. Not that difficult to read these stanzas anyway. It is actually, if you go in depth, then it becomes more and more. There's an endless depth. And that's the beauty. There's a lot of stages. There are retreatants, even today, who, when they do retreat, there's only one single book in their retreat room, and that's Bodhicharya Avatara. And what they do is they read 4 verses a day, one in the morning, one early in the morning, one late morning, then one after lunch, one after dinner. And they contemplate on that. Okay, any more question?
Yeah, it's not a question, but just to understand this clearly is that so all the tools, all the techniques, all the methods are in the service of dismantling or deconstructing self or softening that stance.
Yes. Very good. Yes. Because if you don't deconstruct that, that is the mother of all the delusion. It is the one that gives birth to all the emotion. That's why it's even considered, it's called Korwitsawa, meaning the root of the samsara. It is the samsara. But it's difficult, It's difficult because this self has been there for a long time. It really knows how to defend itself. It knows how to sort of camouflage. Many times the self wears spiritual robes. It comes in the form of love and compassion even. It even comes in the form of understanding bit of emptiness. It will let go few useless things, and then it will let you think, aha, you have won the game. But just as you think you have won the battle, you are already caught. It's not that easy. It's one enemy that one should not trust. What Shantadeva said, never, ever, ever. But okay, the difficulty is also because it is this self that is also wishing to be enlightened. So that makes it a little difficult. Because there is a bit of, we have to kind of give the self the credit for even wanting that. Of course, what I just said now, it is the self that is wanting to be enlightened. I need to define this, especially according to people like Asanga. They will say it's not really the self that is wanting to be enlightened. It is this feeling awkward. This feeling awkward about the self. That is it. And what is this feeling awkward? Feeling a little bit lacking. Feeling awkward. It is also interpreted as genuine heart of sadness. This is where also so-called loneliness comes from. If you are interested in where the loneliness comes from, in this self there is a little bit of, quite a lot actually, loneliness. And it is understandable because its self is kind of smart also. It's very ignorant but also very smart. It's smart in a way that it kind of knows it does not exist, but doesn't want to accept that. Instead of accepting that, it is rushing to print name cards. It is busy trying to prove it exists. In every way, education, marriage, exchanging the ring, promotion, pinching yourself. Am I here? And I don't know, all kinds of things, even chains and whips, sex, all of that is really to confirm that it exists, but then it never really confirms. It never really managed to confirm. So there's this loneliness, this unsure. Okay, now, people like Asanga, they say, this loneliness, this genuine heart of sadness, this feeling awkward is priceless. This, or feeling awkward, feeling sad, is Buddha nature just trying to gush out. It's like it's just want to come out. The feeling, insecurity, all that. As we go along the text, I think we will be talking this a lot. I think the psychology students might like to contribute a little bit on that. But whatever I'm saying is a classic Buddhist. I'm only, copy paste, rewind and play back. That's all I'm doing. It's a classic Buddhist way of interpreting the notion of self. Okay, just one or two stanzas before we stop today. So, the Bodhisattva, generating the, now on the 4th chapter, having aroused the bodhicitta without the distractions, a bodhisattva must apply the bodhisattva discipline diligently. Since you have partake this journey with a careful preparation and thinking for a long time, any endeavor that you pursue without proper, proper thinking, without proper measurement or measuring, one can let go this endeavor since it was not really properly prepared. But Tathagatas and the Bodhisattvas, with their wisdom, this path has been tested, analyzed, and measured for a long time. We ourselves also have, through hearing and contemplation, analyzed the value of the bodhicitta again and again. So, now, what reason is there to delay the path of delay the journey, to begin the journey of the bodhisattva path? Now that we have taken the bodhisattva bodhicitta, now that we have generated the bodhicitta, if we don't continue our caste duty of serving the Buddhas and sentient beings, then we will be deceiving the sentient beings. Okay, I think maybe we'll just end it here today.